Hi everybody, I hope you're all keeping well under the circumstances. I'm back for the monthly member video for April 2025 and I'm here in Portugal now. I relocated just over a month ago. I'm waiting for my studio to be built and I'll be filming in there, but it's got another few weeks until it's been fleshed out, built. There's builders in there just putting electrics in and everything else. So for now, I'm just in my kitchen, so just excuse the unprofessional setting. I'm just gonna dive right into it. Over the past month, SIDEfxHUB had a pretty successful meeting with the Royal Pharmacists Society. We've had the idea recently to try and reach out to as many Royal Societies as we can. We're aiming to do, the Royal Society of Doctors, Psychologists, Pharmacists, Nurses, etc., all within the medical field. So anyway, we managed to set up a meeting with the Royal Pharmacists Society. It was a 30-minute call. We had several members of the team on the call, and I gave a 15-minute presentation on what PFS is. I really hammered home a lot of points. I'll just go through a few things that I mentioned. So I explained the history of finasteride and how it was derived from hermaphrodites and how that relates to strange symptoms such as genital shrinkage and muscle atrophy. I explained the history of Merck and how they have been riddled with scandals throughout their history and have killed tens of thousands of patients with their Vioxx drug, for example. I showed internal communications inside Merck where they admitted that their original finasteride study was a sham and that they knew it caused more side effects than they demonstrated. I showed them evidence for how finasteride not only blocks DHT, but dozen other metabolic processes, including the creation of neurosteroids. I tried to show them as many brave PFS patients as I could who are speaking out in the media. I called out companies like Hims using predatory and often illegal marketing to push finasteride on the public. I covered a dozen more topics, but I'm not going to go through it all. I really hammered home this issue, that it's currently patient groups who are supporting patients and that we have no support currently from any medical or governmental body in the UK or otherwise. They took well to the presentation. They said it was really powerful, and the two safety officers, I think they were called, when we met were really responsive, and they suggested three things. They asked me to possibly give the presentation to their wider network beyond just those two safety officers. They also asked SIDEfxHUB to write an article for their internal publication, which goes out to all registered pharmacists. They also asked if in the future SIDEfxHUB would be on a consultation team set up by them so they can ask us about new measures and whether they feel they're suitable for patients, not just for finasteride and SSRIs, but for other medications as well. So pretty positive meeting, and just wanted to fill you guys in on that. We're going to continue to try and set up these meetings and continue communications with the ones we've already spoken to. This leads me on, please, can you write to your MP if you haven't done so? We're in the process now of hoping to give this presentation to the MPs who are interested, but they still need constituents to speak up. So if you haven't written to your MP and told your story about finasteride, told your story about SSRI damage, then please do so, as it really helps our cause. One quick thing I wanted to cover is about SNOMED codes, because often there is a bit of a myth in the PFS community that PSSD has got SNOMED code but PFS doesn't, and it's kind of half true. So PFS has a SNOMED code, but it's not known under the term Post Finasteride Syndrome. The SNOMED CT term used to define it is called Finasteride Adverse Reaction. And the code for this I'm going to put up on the video somewhere, and I'll also put it in the description. Alternatively, post 5-alpha reductase inhibitors treatment syndrome, such a catchy title, is the term recognised in the Orphanet database, and that code I'll also put on screen and in the description. Orphanet is an international portal dedicated to information on rare diseases and orphan drugs, and it collaborates with SNOMED. It may be really useful for you to quote these codes in your next GP's appointment or any specialist appointment that you have, because they will show up on these databases. The next topic I wanted to cover is a valid question which popped up in the WhatsApp groups recently, which is, why doesn't Malsanji just start human trials immediately for allopregnanolone? And that's a really great question. The problem is that there is regulatory hindrances, shall we say, and there's a whole process which Malsanji has to go through, as he would lose his license if he just started injecting people left, right and centre, even with approved drugs in Milan at his lab. I mean, he would be struck off immediately. So I just wanted to give you a basic running order of how clinical trials manifest. So first of all, there has to be a preclinical rationale package. So this is mechanistic / proof of concept data. So this is either in vitro or animal studies showing that allopregnanolone, or its analogue, which there are 2 approved medications, corrects the neurosteroid deficits and related endpoints, e.g. behavioural biochemical markers seen in PFS. And when I say biochemical markers, I don't mean a biomarker, but I mean the neurosteroid imbalance which has been proven in rats. So first of all, you have to state the claim as to why you think that this medication is, or group of medications, is going to be beneficial for the condition. That's something which has been worked on by Malsanji for years now. After that, you have to produce a concise investigator's brochure summarising these PFS-focused findings alongside any existing safety literature for the medications that you're trying to repurpose. After that, Malsanji has to make a clinical trial application, CTA, and there's a Part 1 review, which is 45 days by the AIFA / the EMA. And then there's a Part 2 review, which is 60 days by a local ethics committee. There also can be clock stops, as it's called, if there's any additional questions, and that can add a further 30 to 60 days. Beyond that, Malsanji needs to get on board a local ethics committee, which is approval at each participating site, so the University of Milan. The Data Safety Monitoring Board needs to come on and just have oversight, and yeah, just as we're a vulnerable population, this is really important. Then there's GDPR and data protection. As you know, there's leaks constantly of people's data, and it's super important to protect that, so there needs to be oversight for that. And the list goes on, like I could just go on and on and on of all the things which need to be put in place. But the main point that I want to make is Malsanji just cannot go and start injecting people with even approved drugs without having a basis for him to do so, and this basis needs to be like a mountain of evidence. So he's working on it. He's done the studies in rats. This is why later this year he's publishing 3 more studies to build a bigger picture, so that he can then go and make his clinical trial application, because the application will be struck off if he doesn't have everything in place. It's a long process, and I wish we could skip it, but we can't. Lastly, I wanted to let you know something pretty cool, which was that we had a meeting with Mark from Moral Medicine. Many of you have featured on his YouTube channel. He's obviously got a really great reputation in the community, and someone who's super helpful and is trying to raise awareness and everything. So we're looking at possibly collaborating and doing some content together in the future to try and raise the profile of PFS and PSSD. So yeah, just a great guy to be in touch with. Going to keep the video short. That's everything for now. There's loads I can just put in, but I have to dash. So please keep donating. If you're in the UK, your donation gets topped up by the government for about 25% boost, 20 to 25%. Please keep doing your yellow cards. Keep writing to your MPs. Keep speaking up in the press, and we will hopefully be able one day to get our lives back. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like and all that stuff, and check the description for the SNOMED codes. Thanks guys, see you soon.